what is the best practice or the right approach? Should you be trying to take that sound out or leave it? And if you are taking the sound out, if that's the case, how do you do that?
Okay. All right. So let me just make one clear distinction before I answer that in terms of audio engineer and podcast engineer. Because an audio engineer, goes to school and engage, that's a lot of money and a lot of time. I don't consider myself an audio engineer like in the music industry, but an engineer for podcasts, I think is a little different in a term that I'm comfortable with. And I just wanted to make that one distinction. But in terms of, background noises and chair squeaks and all types of things like that, the first thing I do, and this is what you and I were talking about at the conference that we were at Pod Movement. The first thing that I do is I look at the waveform. What is it telling me? What is it showing me? Specifically, to answer the question though, those things, if they're not meant to be a part of the show, you want to, remove those or attenuate them as best you can. Now, the ideal thing is to have an environment where those noises are muted or completely blocked out somehow, right? Like you've got the eggshells on the side there I can see in your studio. And so that's going to help block the background noises and especially those lower frequencies that could be coming in from outside of windows, right? The cars and the buses and things like that. So if you can get yourself in an environment where, you put something over the window, whether it's the egg crates or a blanket, or find a place in your home or studio that's as quiet as can be with the least amount of reflections, meaning you don't want, sound waves bouncing off of walls and floors, have some carpet on the floor. That would be great too, put some carpet on the floor and treat the room as best you can. That would be my first recommendation. And then the next recommendation is, pick up yourself a decent dynamic mic. And I say a dynamic mic instead of a condenser because the dynamic mic does a better job of rejecting background noise, whereas a condenser's, it's designed to pick up every little detail and nuance of your voice in terms of podcasting, right? But they do pick up a lot of detail. So a dynamic mic is going to do a better job of rejecting background noises. For example, we talked about the AC that I have on in my home, and you can't hear it right now. I'm using a dynamic mic, which is helping. And of course, not having the gain up too loud. But those would be the first two steps towards having great audio from that standpoint. But again, in terms of things that you can't control, like I've got a squeaky chair, we all have squeaky chairs and just, a cat or a dog or what have you. When it comes to removing those, I use a software called RX8, and it's just a phenomenal tool that I have for helping to remove those things. And sometimes, like I said, you may not be able to just completely remove it, but you can attenuate it.